Now, we will teach them to kill each other, and that'll take a lot of burden and anxiety off of us. But every now and then, we like to kill a few of them ourselves, just to keep in practice. And that's the kind of world we're in. That's the only kind of world we're in. You can't name any other world that is as significant as that. Killing, killing, killing. Kill people in general, but definitely kill people of color. Everybody should be in on that, and everybody should appreciate that. That's the system of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All righty. Thank you, Cleo from Houston. This question here, Mr. Fuller, from LaSherion, says, Dear Mr. Fuller, good morning. Can a white person make a choice to be white, a white supremacist, unconsciously?
Unconsciously?
Yeah, that's the word that...
yeah, a lot of people use that term. I never use that term because I don't know what it means. I simply don't know what it means. People have never explained to me what is conscious and what is unconscious. I think of a person being unconscious as being not being able to think anything because they're unconscious. When the medics show up after an auto accident, they say that, for example, we found the patient, the person who we came to rescue from that dire situation that they were in after a car wreck, unconscious. So we made the person conscious. So the person opened their eyes and started mumbling something and yelling out that they were in pain, and we knew that the person was conscious, and we rushed them to the hospital and tried to take care of the person. That's but the person was unconscious, meaning they weren't responding to anything. We were shaking their arms and whatnot, trying to talk to them and trying to find out what the injuries were. And we couldn't see anything, any blood or anything like that. It was a minor accident, but the person bumped their head and appeared to be unconscious. We found the person unconscious because the person was not aware of anything going on. But when the person became conscious, the person was aware of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I look at it. I never understood this stuff, but in what they call psychiatry and whatnot, you got all kind of terms that don't fit, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What you call that profession. A lot of terms do not fit anything. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of words just to load up the books. That's what I think it is, like in medicine, period. I think a whole lot of terms are completely unnecessary. They should just talk in plain language, because I have been told, I don't know how true this is, when the medical profession first became organized, it was supposed to be like a secret society, like the Freemasons. And they're supposed to use terms that nobody understood, not simple terms. And I think that's the legacy of early medicine, if what is said about early medicine is true.
In this thought-provoking lecture titled, You Can't Have Two Heavyweight Champions, It's Not Logical, Neely Fuller Jr. methodically lays out his core argument. The global system of racism is synonymous with white supremacy, and it is the only functioning system of supremacy in the world today. Fuller begins by explaining how the system of white supremacy systematically teaches black people to hate themselves from birth. This self-hatred manifests in self-destructive behaviors, including black-on-black violence, which benefits white supremacists. Fuller argues that by engineering conditions where black people eliminate themselves, white supremacists save energy and resources while gaining psychological and military advantage. Black people killing each other becomes an act of service to white domination, one in which the victim unknowingly aids the enemy's global expansion. Still, Fuller notes, to reinforce global dominance, white supremacists occasionally commit acts of violence against black people directly, because violence is their nature. Fuller draws a direct line between the violence perpetuated by white supremacists and the internalized violence expressed by black men in particular. He describes how this cycle of learned violence is cultivated through cultural programming, economic deprivation, and media conditioning. The result is a population primed to destroy itself. Fuller emphasizes that this behavior is not biological, but engineered by a centuries-old system. White supremacists use this engineered behavior to maintain control and justify their continued dominance. Violence, he asserts, is the defining tool of white supremacy, and tragically, it has been mirrored in the behaviors of the oppressed. Fuller warns that unless black people begin to understand the source of this programming, they will continue to serve as agents of their own destruction.
Everybody, you know what? As constructive actions item has said, we are having a tremendous glitch, and Mr. Fuller is not on the line right now. However,
I'm here now.
Oh, good. Okay, listen, Robert and the crew has just told me that at 10 o'clock, which is going to be 15 minutes, the same thing is happening again. We're going to have to, you and I are going to have to call back in. Everybody that's online is going to have to terminate the phone call and call back in. As constructive action items has said, I think that the usual suspects seem to be in place. But I remember something you said, Mr. Fuller, expect the worst and hope for the best. Well, this is one of these times because we never have had this particular problem before, but we're having it right now. But being codified, we just work ourselves through it. So when we're cut off again, we'll just do it.
It's a part of the war.
Back. Yeah, it's part of the war. We just understand that, and we'll just do it again because a lot of people that are practicing living codified know that these things are going to happen. One of the Gmailers said that your work is so important that people that are in particular areas do not want it to get out, but it's still getting out anyway, even all around the world. So, again, those of you who are on the air at 10 o'clock, I was told that whatever this glitch was is going to cut us off, but you have to call back into that same number. Mr. Fuller and myself will do the same thing. And I think the same thing might be done on those that are in the chat room, as far as I know. Yeah. And somebody just asked, is this program going to continue today? Yes, it is. We are going to continue. This is not going to stop it. You expect this in war. Things happen. You expect this in war. Mr. Fuller, as we are preparing for this, and you've been doing this, can you explain to people some of the tactics that the racists use in warfare against the truth?
Well, for one thing, you don't hear in regular radio, for the most part, except this on one station, the Carl Nelson Show, provided by Dr. Kathy Hughes on one of her stations. Every now and then, once a month or so, I am given some time. But just in regular conversations, you can turn on television and hear hours and hours, and I've been talking for years. You never hear anything mentioned about Neely Fuller's book. You'll hear all kind of books being advertised, and mostly they watch people very closely who are in the institutions, educational institutions, and make sure that they don't go too far off the rails, you might say, that are set by the white supremacists, because they're in the traditional educational institutions. That includes all the black studies programs. You're not going to hear anything about the United Independent Compensatory Code, period, by anybody, by any black professors or white ones. You're not going to hear it, because that'll be the tip of an iceberg to opening up some, well, I would say, some substantially different views of how to look at, first of all, this race problem. Now, you do hear some people who come pretty close to it, like this lady with the critical race theory, and that's why everybody's in such all up in arms. Well, you've had black professors for years talking about race and race and race, but this particular lady said, well, what about some fresh looks? And I keep forgetting her name. I think her name is Mrs. Jones or something.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to Google. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they say that
I think
she came
Nicole,
up.
Nicole something.
Yes,
Nicole
she's gone further. You know, she just doesn't keep rehashing what has already been said dozens and dozens of times, all down through the years. But that, she says, it's an old problem. But let's use some new terms and a new way of looking at things. I mean, put another frame of reference on it all together. And that's what the code does. See, and people call it under the umbrella of critical race theory, and we don't want none of that. We don't want any fresh views, any research type thing where you go over what you have been going over, but you look at it with a different set of eyes, like scientists always do, or seek to do. And that's what the white supremacists said. No, freeze frame it. Use the same kind of terms we issue you to use. I mean, and don't emphasize so much this white supremacy thing. Rather than say the system of white supremacy, say racism and white supremacy.
Yeah.
So it will tell you, and you hear professors using that over and over again. I've had interviewers interview me over and over again, and the interviewers down through the years have always said, well, Mr. Fuller, what about this racism and this white supremacy? They will say racism and white supremacy. And even after I keep saying, racism is white supremacy.
Is white supremacy, yes.
And white supremacy is racism. You never separate those two words. You don't say racism and white supremacy. What other type of racism is there? You can't have two supremes. And I've said this on there many times, except in a singing group. I mean, you can have two, you have a singing group, Diana Ross and the Supremes. So that's more than two, or more than one, rather. And you can have that in a singing group, or when you talk about racism, and you look around for the people who practice racism, they're white supremacists. You say, well, what about the black supremacists? I've run into a lot of black people who say black people are supreme because they're genetically supreme. I say, yeah, but that's not where the problem is. The problem is who is supreme based on race. And it has to be, first of all, a white person, because you can't have white supremacy and black supremacy on the same planet at the same time. That's not logical. It's not scientific at all. Nowhere near being scientific. You can't have, when you say you got a heavyweight champion of the world, that's the heavyweight champion of the world. You can't have two heavyweight champions at the same time.
Right. Yeah, her name is Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And so I hope people get that point. And look out for new terms all the time. They keep cropping up.
Yeah, her name is Nicole Hannah Jones. She wrote that book, on the critical race theory. And my people, or people that listen to the program, what is happening to us in a codified manner is we have to take it as an object lesson. We are under attack, but in a codified manner. We just can't talk about it. We have to be about it, live about it. So this is why we go to the other way. We continue on even while we are under attack with the program jumping in and out. See, this is an object lesson, what to do when things happen, and this is what we're going to do. I understand that in about 6 minutes we're going to have to do it all over again. That's okay, because we're still going to keep on going. That is okay. Now, Mr. Fuller and I have been talking for just a minute. Let me see if I can briefly get you in, Corey, before we disconnect. Corey from Milwaukee. Let me see, Corey. Milwaukee, yes. Go ahead, Corey.
Greetings, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Fuller. Mr. Fuller, I've been making compensatory requests for help in the area of medicine, and I keep meeting the same. The usual suspects are giving me the same response, saying I don't qualify. Is it codified for me to continue to appeal their negative responses that I receive from the so-called higher levels of so-called government? And should I use the word guide and ask them to do their duty and take this as an opportunity to ask for help as a victim of racism in producing justice? Basically use this situation to keep making my requests.
Okay, Mr. Fuller, you got about 3 minutes to answer them before we have to disconnect, so go ahead. Thank you, Corey.
If I understand the question, you use the code all the time. All the time. There's no, why stop doing something until you're at gunpoint told that if you don't stop doing it, you're going to die, or you're going to be seriously harmed. So as long as no one is threatening you with death or serious bodily harm or quote-unquote economic harm or educational harm, or they just cut you off or ignore you and whatnot, you just keep plugging along. Why? Because we're supposed to be replacing the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. And justice is always in fashion. It's never been tried seriously by anybody in recorded history. And what is justice? Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. And that's all over the planet. Applies to everybody in every area of activity 24/7. Guarantee that no person is mistreated and guarantee that the person that needs help the most in every setting gets the most constructive help. And you don't stop doing that. You wake up in the morning and go to bed at night with that in mind. And, and somebody says you need to stop doing it, then you say, why? And listen to the answers that you get. Stop trying to practice justice, trying to stop putting justice into operation and replace all these other systems of interactions between people with justice, because none of the other systems are working in a way that they should in any area of activity, principally the system of white supremacy. You're not getting justice in the system of white supremacy. Nobody's producing it. People talk about it. Nobody's making a move, seriously, to produce it. Never been produced by anybody in recorded history.
Never. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Corey, for your question. Stay codified, no matter what. Stay on it. Whatever you have to do to get the results that you want, stay on it. Stay codified. All of us have to stay codified, regardless of whatever they throw at us, like they're getting ready to do now in about a minute and 30 seconds. We have to. You have to call it. Mr. Fuller and I will have to call in again the third time. That's okay. 4 times, 5 times, that's okay. We're still going to keep going. And you'll have to do the same. You'll have to terminate your phone call or however you're on and call back in or reconnect to the site on Blog Talk under the new whatever that is. Just reconnect with that. I got to do that too so I can get you guys. But that's okay, because they expect us to quit or give up or talk about each other and all that stuff. You know, that's okay. That's okay. We just keep on doing it. I'm doing it because we have I'm looking at my clock here. I got a minute to do this. But you have to expect this. You have to expect that you are going to be attacked, either seen or unseen, as this show is being attacked today, as you can see. But the object lesson is we ain't quitting. Don't like it, but we ain't quitting. We're going to keep on doing, no matter what smoke screens they throw. We reconnect. Okay. Here we go. All righty. We'll do it.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time.
Oh, okay. Thank you for those, and welcome back to the CRCS, the Counter Racist Code Show. As you can see, we've been having some technical difficulties, but we're trying to work through those. Some have decided that they will catch us next week, which you can. Sorry to see you go. But there are some that are going to stay. So you know the procedure. Call this number, 516-453-9921, and make sure that you give the call screener your name so that I can properly give you the introduction. Because they ain't stopping us. That's all there is to it. I ain't mad. I ain't upset. I expect this kind of stuff to happen. I'm still trying to live codified as much as I can. But anyway, make sure you give the call screener your name, and so that I can properly give you an introduction, like Glenda has done. Thank you, Glenda. You've done that. Yeah, you do that. Let's see here, and I think the same for the people in the chat room, because it looks like the number has gone down, but that's okay. First, okay, Darnell, thank you. Now, if you're a first-time caller, make sure you tell the call screener that, so that we can expedite you in an area so that your call can be heard. If you're online, you will be heard. Now, sometimes while you're speaking, sometimes I'm having conversation with Robert or Moon Pie or the lovely Sharon. Yeah, I can see her smiling now about some stuff that's going on, and I'm wondering how much time do we have left, because I have a clock here, a countdown clock, and it's reading a certain number, so Robert will let me know how long the program is going to be. If you missed the first hour, it's up there. I think it's called Part 1. It's up there where Mr. Fuller does the usual thoughts and expressions on the mind of Neely Fuller Jr., so you might want to catch this. I think this is Part 2, maybe could be Part 3, but this is on also. So make sure that you do that. Okay, I see Dollar Bill is back. Okay, I tell you what, I'm gonna take a phone call here. Oh yeah, I forgot this. I beg your pardon. For the chat room, go to Blog Talk Radio, and then you want to make sure that you go to programs and hit the Produce Justice show. Hit that, and then the chat room will come up, and you're able to get into the chat room and see if we can get those numbers back up. Darnell, I'm going to try to see if we can get you, or did we already do it? Let me see here. Darnell, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead, Darnell.
Well, this one is a VGQ. It's not a question.
Okay.
The victims of white supremacy should always know 3 things. They should know who they are, which is victims of white supremacy. They should know where they are, which is in the system of white supremacy, and they should know what time it is. and the time is to reduce justice. Mr. Bobby, can I stay online, please?
Yes, sir. Let me see if I can get you in. Hopefully you won't be disconnected. Let me see here. Okay, Darnell, thank you for your call. Okay, I think I got you in here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, we're going to continue in New York. We got some holler from the dollar. That's Dollar Bill. All right, Dollar Bill, get ready. Give it to me. Go ahead, Dollar Bill. You are on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby, and good morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know what? I'm so glad to be out of school because now I can attend school myself on Tuesdays at 9 till 11 on the show. And I just want to say that, this solving, you brought up a lot of good things this morning, even though we were interrupted, and I think that is one of the most powerful things that I have learned from Mr. Fuller is to expect things to go wrong when you are a person who is going through this system of racism, white supremacy.
Yes, sir.
I just want to put that out there. And I wanted to say that, he said something about this morning about solutions. And I felt that a main solution of what I think we should do is start boycotting again. That breadbasket movement was a big thing, and I think we need to move towards those things of boycotting these systems that are really using our money to really just hurt us continuously. And we should be going, another solution, we should be going after that $20 trillion debt that is owed to ADOS or the FBAs, whatever they want to call themselves, with specifics to help them get out of this rut that they're in. Mm-hmm. My question, another thing I wanted to say was unconscious versus conscious. Mr. Fuller, I said to myself, well, I had to look that word up. And conscious just means that you know a fact. You know something. And I think that's the way people are using it. And unconscious just means the opposite of that you're unaware of that you're doing something or that you don't know. So I just wanted to throw that in there. My question. I wanted to know, why do so many people, why do they always want to dismiss this conversation of racism? And I wanted to get your feel on that because they always seem to go into victim mode, or they'll say they'll get angry, they don't want to talk about it. Even our own people, they seem to have been brainwashed in somehow, even though with a lot of great information out there, like the compensatory code book, or Mr. Jeff Robinson's, just his latest movie, about why is it that they're always trying to deflect and get away from talking about this important issue.
Oh, okay. All righty.
Mr. Bob.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Fuller?
All problems are solved, and I like to emphasize all. A and big neon lights, glaring paint, or whatever you want to say it. Emphasize all. All problems are solved through the process of questions and answers. So if a person, for example, says they don't want to talk about racism, then you ask a logical question. And that question is, sir, ma'am, what do you want to talk about? And then you go from there, because after that first question, you probably have 1,000 other questions until you do what? Until you solve the problem. But all problems are solved through the process of questions and answers. So you should never get frustrated, because the minute that you can't communicate with a person or think that you can't, and you start getting nervous about where the conversation is going, just go into the question and answer mode. It's real simple. That's code. That's rock solid code. You don't turn loose to that. You ask the logical question. What do you want to talk about? People are always willing to talk about what they want to talk about. And once you start that, it's going to all lead to the race issue anyway. You will find this out just by doing it. Just keep asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make statements. Just move on to the next question. It'll take everybody right where they should be, whether they want to go or not, if they're going to have a conversation at all. And if you don't believe it, try it. That's code.
That's
but
code.
You've got to remember to do it. Don't start arguing with people saying, look, I want to talk to you about racism, and you don't want to talk about it, and that's what I want to talk about. It's not what you want to talk about, but it is what you want to talk about. If you want to talk about it to a person that don't want to talk about it. So what's the procedure for slicing right through all of that? What do you want to talk about? And the person will say, well, I want to talk about my job situation. That's what I want to talk about. All right. That's the hook right there. And you can say that. You can tell them that's what you're doing. It's not sneaking up on anybody. You can say, hey, I'm going the codified route. The codified route says that if you don't want to talk about race, what I'm supposed to do is immediately ask you, what do you want to talk about? And talk about what you want to talk about. The code requires that. How can I talk to a person about something that they don't want to talk about, not interested in talking about, and can't stand you talking about it and trying to get away from you, and you grabbing them by the sleeve saying, you're going to listen to me? Now, that's coercion. The code doesn't do that at all. I mean, just because you want to talk about something, you're going to make somebody else listen to you talk about something that they don't want to talk about? The codified procedure is no. You go into the question mode every time. And the logical question is, if you don't want to talk about race, sir or ma'am, and you can do this in a classroom, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about CRT. What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? Yes,
because people are always willing to talk about what they want to talk about.
Okay.
But through that process of questions and answers, it will lead to talking about the race issue anyway, because the race issue is the dominant subject on the planet.
One of the key tactics used by white supremacists to ensure this domination, according to Fuller, is the suppression of black intellectual thought. He points out the deliberate lack of exposure given to independent black scholars, psychologists, and thinkers who are not sanctioned by the dominant white power structure. This is not a coincidence, but a strategy. Black voices that challenge the status quo or other counter-racist frameworks are silenced, ignored, and discredited. This silencing is also evident in the attacks on critical race theory, which Fuller sees as a backlash against any attempt to truthfully examine how racism is woven into the very fabric of American and global institutions. White supremacists, he argues, seek to control not only the physical bodies of black people, but also the ideas they're exposed to. Fuller insists that language and education are central battlegrounds in the war for human dignity. He teaches that white supremacists intentionally control the literature, curriculum, and terminology taught to black children. This control ensures that white supremacist values are embedded in the minds of black youth before they can think critically. Fuller warns that even the words they use are crafted to maintain white dominance, and unless we develop a compensatory counter-racist code, an independent framework of thought, we will continue to be misled and manipulated. He insists that racism and white supremacy are not two separate things. They are one and the same, and it is incorrect to use them interchangeably or speak of other forms of supremacy that do not exist. Fuller goes on to confront the falsehood of multiple supremacies. The idea that there could be black supremacy or Asian supremacy is, he says, completely illogical. Supremacy is absolute, and there can only be one supreme at one time. You can't have two heavyweight champions in the same ring, he asserts. To suggest that there are multiple supremacies is to misunderstand the very concept of dominance. For Fuller, acknowledging the singular reality of white supremacy is not an act of surrender. It is the first step toward building a logical, strategic, and unified counter-racist response. By understanding the system for what it is and refusing to be confused or distracted, black people can begin to dismantle the psychological chains that hold them back.